waiting to be shooed to class, and later, back in that same hallway again, at the end of the day, with your friends, and the whole afternoon ahead of you. And now here you are, with your whole life ahead of you. So remember this. You have made your teachers proud. You have made your coaches proud. You have made me proud. We are better for knowing all of you, and the world is lucky to have you. Be safe and be kind. Be strong and speak your mind. Good luck to each of you. I'm really going to miss you. It is truly an honor to introduce our salutatorian, Sarah Samaranayaka.
Good evening, parents, family, faculty, and the graduating class of 2016. In the age of standardized testing, students have become numbers, mere statistics on a spreadsheet. We have over 500 seniors graduating. Our high school has over 2,000 students, 41 clubs, 42 sports teams, and so on. I personally like numbers because they're easy to look at, analyze, and interpret. There's a certain comfort in having just one answer to a question because life hardly ever gives us that luxury. However, people cannot be quantified because numbers are too one-dimensional to describe even just one person, much less hundreds of us. The class of 2016 has enriched our school with so much more than numbers could ever explain. For example, over the last 4 years, new clubs like Wonder Women, Ping Pong, and Mariachi were founded. Our academic team ranked among the best in the nation. Global ambassadors raised over $20,000 for Syrian refugees this year. The Seed Club, seeking educational equity and diversity, hosted Ferguson Week last year and raised money to fund a playground for a school in Uganda. Our Songwriters Club, dedicated to nurturing talented musicians and singers of all genres, celebrated its 15th birthday. We also celebrated the 20th and final Jiggy, a showcase of the artistic talent of our student body and one of our school's most entertaining and memorable legacies. And lastly, for the first time in over a decade, we have had seniors accepted to 5 of the 8 Ivy League schools, and many graduates are heading to equally competitive institutions all over the country. This radiant diversity and passion is largely a product of our school's diversity. Our student body represents over 50 countries around the globe. Everyone comes from varying walks of life, all contributing to this colorful microcosm we call home. Some are from families who have been in White Plains their whole lives. Many of us are first or second generation Americans with backgrounds ranging from just about every corner of the world. I am a product of immigrant parents myself. My mother is from Peru, and my father is from Sri Lanka. They met as students in the Soviet Union without even a common language between them, aside from the Russian they were in the process of learning. Growing up with 2 distinct cultural influences was challenging at times. For example, religion has always been a point of difference, but not contention, in my family. My mother is a devoted Christian, while my father is best described as an agnostic Buddhist. They've learned to coexist and, most importantly, have always encouraged my sister and me to choose for ourselves. At home, I have learned to think for myself and consider both sides of an argument. My upbringing also showed me that it does not matter where we come from, only what we have to offer. Exposure to diversity, from pre-K to high school, has inherently ingrained this value in all of us as well. But I have to admit, in elementary school, I felt I didn't know where I belonged because I was never quite Peruvian, nor was I quite Sri Lankan. By the time I reached high school, that was no longer the case. Our school offered a niche for everyone, whether it be scholastics, arts, or sports. Friendships were formed based on common interests. Regardless of race, religious preference, or sexual orientation, White Plains High School has always been a safe environment for us to learn, explore, and discover ourselves and each other. We have learned tolerance and respect by modeling it, enforcing it, and expecting absolutely nothing less from our peers or from our teachers. Education is the most powerful tool for achieving equity because it fosters tolerance, constructive conversation, and respect for one another. Only through education can we acquire the tools and social skills to bridge the differences between one another. Once we move beyond our differences, it becomes evident that beneath everything else, we are all human beings with dreams and desires. Within both sides of my family, for example, there is a mutual value for education. By listening to one another, learning about one another, befriending one another, we begin to stitch together the wounds in our society that are violently torn apart by intolerance and prejudice. As you move forward in your journey, remember that just as in mathematics, the path from one point to another is not always a straight one. Some of us have found our passions already. Some of us are still searching. And some of us cringe when people ask us what we're doing with the rest of our lives. Even if you don't have any idea, there has to be something that sparks within you, something that makes you smile, something that you want to share with the world. I intend to be an oncologist someday, but I hope to juggle cancer research that simultaneously. Whatever I choose to do with my life, I feel confident that with the tools I've gained in White Plains, between the hard work of the top-notch faculty, the values instilled in me by my family, and the love and support of the diverse array of friends I've made, I will be able to navigate the path that lies before me. I'm sure a lot of people have been counting down the days until this evening's graduation. I know there were days when I just wanted it all to end. But all I can think about right now is what I'll miss. Remember the teachers that went out of their way to push you and support you. Remember the friends you've made, even if distance separates you. And remember that we are so fortunate to complete a secondary education in a world where education is a luxury for so many. Mahatma Gandhi once said, "Our ability to reach unity in diversity will be the beauty and test of our civilization. Nuestra capacidad para alcanzar la unidad en la diversidad será la belleza y la prueba de nuestra civilización." I am proud and honored to say that White Plains High School is a realization of that concept. I only ask that you carry this lesson with you and share it wherever life leads you. Thank you and congratulations.